Hi everyone and welcome to my second video from here at Thwaite Gardens in Cottingham near Hull. Just half an hour away from me is this amazing botanic garden. In the first video in this little mini series, you'll have seen around the incredible exotic garden here, beautiful tropical planting, amazing scenes created from plants that grow all around the world. And today we're going under the glass. Some amazing greenhouses full of all kinds of different plants. There's Sarracenia, there's cacti, there's every fern you can imagine. But not just what you expect to see in a botanic greenhouse, but also going into the propagation and real experimental glass houses as well. There's all kinds of incredible plants here, and Steve Howe is going to show us around. So I hope you enjoy this video. It really is an amazing place, and I'll put a link to the website below if you want to visit next year. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. What an array of plants. What's the actual name of this tunnel, if you like?
Well, basically on that side we have South Africa. The irony of that is most of it flowers in the winter, so a lot of people don't see it, but effectively there's a lot of species geraniums and the typical, and it's left a bit scruffy because we don't want it neat and tidy because that's how it would be growing in the wild. So as I say, you've effectively got a bed of all South African natives, and well, a lot of them you'll recognise as sort of bedding plants over here because South Africa does give us a wealth of different plants that, as I say, more often than not we use for bedding.
It's amazing to see them sort of side by side with the succulents, and I mean this agave, this has got to be a vatifolia, hasn't it? This one here. Just look at that. How amazing does that look? The colours in it, it's such a bright, icy, bluey silver, isn't it?
Yes, it
is a stunner, and that side by side with the Sarracenia, from North America, the pitcher plants there, such a vibrant contrast, that isn't it? And yeah, I mean, there's everything going on here, isn't there? You could have just had a desert, glass house, couldn't you? But not only have we got these amazing, they're arid exotics. I mean, looking down here, what agave parii there. A few different forms, haven't we? Yeah,
because I mean, parii is one of the ordinary species ones, one of the ones that you can probably grow outside as long as it's dry in winter.
Yeah, it's one of the sort of hardy agaves, along with sort of Montana and a vatifolia.
Yeah, they're the kind of three. There's quite a lot of them are worth trying now, as long as it's mainly the dryness in winter that you need to be careful of.
Absolutely, and something like this where it's kept just about frost-free, well ventilated, it's really the perfect environment for a lot of these. And what is that magnificent spiky beast there?
Heteracantha.
So agave heteracantha,
it's a beast.
That really is a spiky. I mean, the spikes and the spikes, isn't there? Those things are absolutely just vicious, aren't they? That is an amazing plant.
It's one that pups an awful lot. I mean, it is a big grow. We've got some outside that we're going to try out for winter because we've got plenty to lose.
To me, it looks like a plant which might have a fighting chance in the right spot, like with that overhead cover of the conifers that we saw. Yeah, it might have a good shot out there, and I wouldn't fancy being the person that has to separate the pups. That's a job for any volunteers, isn't it?
Interesting enough, because I mean, this bed, most of the agaves came off eBay, and came as tiny little plants. I thought, I'll be dead before I see anything worth looking at. And it's surprising with agaves, if they're watered well in summer, they grow at a heck of a rate, and then just keep them dry from about September through to March, and then get watering them again. How quickly they grow. And this bed soon got overgrown, so I managed to persuade Dave and Sean to come and sort it out, and I said, well, you can have all the pups and sell them on at the nursery. Anyway, by the end of the day, that fed up with seeing agaves. They left all the pups in buckets and fled the place. So
that's Dave and Sean of Sunk Island fame, isn't it? So if you check out my video there, you'll see their hard work, a beautiful nursery full of all kinds of exotic plants. And I mean, here, just those cannas, it's such a contrast, isn't it? Seeing cannas with agaves, with Sarracenias. That really is a full-on botanic display, isn't it? Yeah,
there is a dearth of agaves at Sunk Island, though. Yeah, because they didn't take them away.
Oh. Well, that's the place to go then for all your spiky succulent needs.
I went with the different cannas. I mean, I went between the species ones are worth growing because they'll keep on flowering. So what you get is one flower finishes, then another one comes, and another one comes. So they continue to flower. Where a lot of the hybrids, they'll get to a point where they'll flower maybe once or twice. The hybrids, which are more this typical type, are more upright. These are the species ones. So again, you look at the flower
hang down a bit more delicately. Yeah. Oh, there we go. You killed that one off. It was worth
But I mean, if you look at the flower colour, you know, you get some phenomenal
This is it. And
possibly more value for money, but maybe not as big a flower. But you know.
Well, the same goes for any plant, doesn't it? If you want the hybrid, you get the sort of oversized blooms and everything. But sometimes the species ones offer a more delicate beauty, but other attributes that make them well worth growing. And one tip you actually mentioned there, I grow Canna Altensteinii in my garden, and it's like you've said, you don't want to deadhead it, because when one flower spike fails or ends, you then get others appearing above it, don't you? So you don't want to be too quick.
That's classic here. If you cut it off there, you've lost the next flower. So you've got your previous flower, then the next one's coming, and likewise there. More easy to distinguish from the species again, but even with the, I just cut the one off there, but the next one's.
Yeah.
So yeah, but say don't get over enthusiastic and cut it back because you'll you lose your flower for the rest of the year.
And, I mean,
group of Mangaves.
Yeah, how amazing do they look?
I mean, there's just a phenomenal amount of breeding in America for them now.
It's unreal, isn't it? And even coming over in our garden centres, you can get them now for £5–10, can't you? Some of these beautiful Mangaves that are, some of them are potentially hardy, aren't they?
They're hardier than Manfredas, and I don't think they're as hardy as Agaves. So there's that kind of in between where you get a much more, much bigger range, I suppose, of different leaf shape and colours than Agaves. But as I said, they're not quite as hardy, so you need to be a bit careful where you put them.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd last a winter outside.
Well, you'd be surprised. It's some of the people on Instagram that I follow. They've experimented with them. Yeah. But obviously, again, if you can't grow Agaves outside, there's very little point trying a more tender hybrid, is there? So what is it? I can guess it's something Shaddock.
Yeah, one's bronze eagle, the other one's chainsaw.
Yeah.
They're in here because we're waiting for them to get big enough, then we'll try them outside. Because again, they've got more of a chance the bigger they get. Again, it shows you the weird foliage of New Zealand. Who's going to want to eat that? It's kind of almost
I
leathery.
certainly wouldn't. Yeah.
And again, when they first start to grow, you get this blob of mucus on them as well, which is another protective factor.
Just to put you off further.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, again, it's obviously to protect them from when they're first starting to push up.
Yeah, no, they really are the most bizarre plants, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I think let's head round into the next glass house and see what other treats you've got in store. But along the way, I mean, even here in this sort of central corridor, some of the planting, we got, is that chain fern there? Is it one of the Woodwardias?
I think it's one of the Woodwardias.
Yeah, beautiful. Brassaiopsis here. And then this tunnel, or glass house, research private. That doesn't apply today, does it?
I think that was the old university days.
Yeah.
This is the more exotic fern collection, because we're lucky to have Yvonne, who was secretary of the Fern Society, so a lot of these ferns you won't find anywhere else.
No.
They're not exotic ones enough that, because we haven't got the heating, but the ones that will survive not being frozen, but just a bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, having said that, there's a lot of people are trying pyrosia and things outside now.
Yeah, pyrosia, yes. I've certainly, that sheareye and a few others I've seen being tried. We've got an interesting Dixonia here, haven't we? That's not one that I've heard of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think one of these have come from the other botanic gardens, so we've got ones that are a little bit different that you won't find in the garden centre.
No. That looks like Terrace umbrosa, that's one I grow outside.
Yeah, it's everywhere here.
Absolutely. And it's just ferns are incredible, aren't they? They're a group of plants that, they just offer such a diverse range of foliage, sizes, colours, and they really are just splendid. And here, I mean, I just love these Blechnums. So if you've got a frost-free greenhouse or polytunnel, they just look so cool, don't they? Just amazing, like tiny little Dixonias, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Cythia deobata there, which has got the
should have the blue
glorious,
blue underneath.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? Blechnums over there. It really is an amazing collection. So if you live in the sort of Yorkshire region, ferns are your thing, you've got to head across here on one of the open days and check it out. So as we carefully walk over this step here. Brassaiopsis there, is that one of your collection, that one?
Yeah, it's Dumbicola.
Yeah, just
amazing. Starting to flower with these funny little flower buds.
Oh yeah. That's a sight you don't see every day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a good one, that, because it's good and leathery, but it's not quite as snowflakey as Niffis is.
And this really is, and I don't mean to sound surprised, it is a full-on botanic greenhouse, isn't it? There's everything.
Well, we try and grow things that you don't see every day, because the local people can come and, especially school kids, can come and see something where you maybe have to go down to Kew or Wisley or somewhere like that. So we've got a fair old range.
You really have.
Considering we haven't got proper heating and misting units and everything else, so...
Look at the size of these.
Yeah.
It's just massive, isn't it? I'll try to show my hand next to it. But yeah, that is like a small pineapple, isn't it? In size,
Shaddock, yeah, it's a cross grapefruit. Great big numb things. You can knock yourself out if you race down the corridor.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. And you say this is kept just about frost-free, don't you?
Well, there's no heating in the middle corridor, so we rely upon a bit of heat coming from the side ones, and we've only got 3 kilowatt heaters in those that we can't have on full power because it just burns the sockets out.
No, I can imagine. But this Monstera survives and thrives here?
Yeah, I mean, it got really cut back. The one up there we did lose, and I put a load of bromeliads in for open day, but it's come back, and then we've got the Thai constellation is mine, but it'll go into one of the warmer greenhouses because we don't want to.
No, I've actually just donated one of mine to Mark, good lad. You know, because he's a struggling young lad, you know, and he's
no, he's got 2 brass farthings to rub together.
Yeah, so mine's living in his greenhouse at the minute, but I love this area here. Your summer bedding, you know, it's even extended here into the greenhouses. A mixture of Strobilanthus, Coleus. Yeah, it really does look vibrant and punchy, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's the canary.
Wow.
Tropiolum the canary vine as well. This is a cup and saucer vine, but it only has a cup. It's a hardy one, but it hasn't flowered yet. Because the ordinary one gets to be monstrous. We had one in here that just about filled the whole place. Cobbia pringelii.
Cobbia pringelii?
Pringlei, which, as I say, is a hardy one for outside. Will get cut back, but it has a white flower on it, but it's just the cup rather than the saucer.
Oh.
So that's the vine part of it, but we haven't, for whatever reason, got a flower on it.
No. I mean, heading through here, there's everything, isn't there? It really is. It's just amazing. Some of these cycads are stunning.
There's some different cycads at the end here.
Yeah, let's have a look here.
Which these are all scented pelargoniums. Now, to me, they'll smell one thing to one person, something different to somebody else. But so you can come along. You know, they're now telling you we've got Coca-Cola, spearmint, you name it. Oh, this is
Fascicularia canaliculata, is it? Oh, it's got an alternative name, hasn't it, which you're going to tell me now? Pitcairnifolia. I can't remember which one's the old one, which one's the new one. But
I think the old one was Pitcairnifolia because it's got the wider leaves, and then when it flushes, the flowering is deep blue.
Yes.
Quite distinctive. For as much as the other one is turquoise is unusual, this one's equally unusual because it's deep blue. But yeah, we've still got it down as Pitcairnifolia. But you're disputing me, but I don't think that's hardy.
I don't know about disputing.
George says this is hardy.
Well, I'm growing it, and I think I've seen the guys at Alternative Eden growing it in a tree. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, you know, in places that aren't the coldest areas, you might have a chance outside. But for plants that need a place like this, these cycads, Steve, these are something else, aren't they?
And they're brutal because, I mean, most of them are really sharp. You know what it's like when they actually harden up.
I mean,
all right, they're soft when they first flush, but once they've hardened, you can see why the dinosaurs didn't like them.
Yeah, I can see why they persisted through them. Yeah.
And then this brute at the end here with the real lethal foliage. Have you seen it coning?
Let's have a close look at that. Whew. It is warm in here, and this is obviously thriving. I can't even move it out of the way because it's so stiff. In fact, let's just carefully reach over. Look at that. That really is amazing, isn't it?
Sort of something prehistoric, isn't it?
And how long have these actually been in here?
I don't know this one. It's obviously a good age, is this one, because the size of the trunk on it, but I don't know whether it's one of the ones that was left over from the Botanic Gardens, but I think all of those were sold off to one of the estate gardens up at Raby or somewhere like that. They took all the collection that was here, so I'm not quite sure where that one did come from.
So this main greenhouse here is sort of prehistoric plants, isn't it?
Yeah, basically it was an evolution house for teaching purposes, but I mean during lockdown a lot of the stuff was lost in the slimes and gloops, so this is kind of the middle bed that's just about surviving.
It needs refreshing, we'll say, in some areas, doesn't it? But there's still, again, even more agaves in case you
weren't my overflow
satisfied by the first tunnel. Yes. Wow. There's a bit of everything here, isn't there?
Yeah, there's sort of.
I really am genuinely amazed that you can do this with volunteers. You know, just keep everything alive, let alone everything thriving as much as it is. It
can have its challenges in summer when we get baking hot weather, but because we literally race into to water everything. Cycads, everybody gets them from home, get too big, and then we end up here. So. And of course, you know, when you get them growing well, I mean, they are a spectacular plant rather than be stuffed in a pot. But
one of mine is actually stuffed in a pot, but it's flushed this year, and it really has been such a treat seeing it open up.
Ours flush most years, I mean, which I think sometimes in a pot they can be a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
But ours tend to flush every year, so probably because of the better, more sheltered conditions.
Absolutely. And what is this beastie here?
Tilanthophora grandifolia. Again, it flowers in with an umbel of yellow flowers, but it's makes a load of seed, but nobody's ever managed to get the seed growing. I know Mike Clifford tried it with smoke washes and things like that and still didn't manage, but
if
I mean, it's
Mike
a phenomenal...
Clifford's tried it, then it probably doesn't work, does it?
So, but I mean, it's easy from cuttings, but I mean, just look at the foliage on it. I mean, it's just fantastic with the stem.
Wow. And then we've got the philodendron, that's got a new name now, hasn't it? But large leaves here, this one.
Take your word. That survived, the chills. Tree fern's rubbish. It's been here for years, but you can tell it's...
Yeah, probably a little bit too dry, isn't it, for it in here, unfortunately.
I think it'd have been a novelty when it was first grown and put in, but it's certainly not a specimen worth talking about.
No, I mean, it really is amazing, any sort of botanic greenhouse or glasshouse. Obviously, a lot of the plants originally were thought that they wouldn't have a chance outside, weren't they? But now we grow a lot more of them outside.
Tapeworm plant as well, easy from cuttings.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's got the flattened stems, the flowers are... Is it flowering anywhere? Tiny little insignificant things.
Well, talk about a plant which isn't insignificant, Steve. That in the pot, Brassaiopsis.
Oh God, they're like weeds here.
They really are, but look at that. The trunk is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously Mytis. We've grown them from cuttings, from stem cuttings, from root cuttings. Wow. So I say the 10 a penny here.
10 a penny.
We might even have 1 or 2 for sale on the open day. There's a carrot dangle.
Yeah. Mark, get yourself over it. Open your wallet.
Wow. You'll have had time to save up by then.
Yeah, wow.
This is our temperate Fernhouse, so these are kind of take it a lot cooler. So you've got Fimbriata with a big...
Yeah.
Is this Eugenemata? Or is it?
I think this is a Fimbriata, this one.
Fimbriata, yeah.
Yeah. More terrace over here. I don't know if it is necessarily Umbrosa. At the far end here, we've got the beautiful red beastie that you've just referred to. This, I mean, just look at that. I know obviously we're inside here in a glass house, but for a fern you can grow outdoors in the UK, it really is just I
think Anne and Bob down at Jenny and Roger, they've got about 4 of them growing outside, and they're a good size. If they're in the protected enough area, I mean, these are different Cyathias. This is Australis. Again, being inside, they get too big, so it's a sort of catch-22. We end up having to chuck them out, hack them out.
Yeah, I just think this Woodwardia, it's just sensational. The colours of it, absolutely stunning. Got all Staghorn ferns there.
Well, yeah, I mean, like this one in the corner here, I mean, they're some age because they're great big trunks.
Yeah, I've just walked past those. Yeah. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen such a collection as that. Are they mounted on?
No, it's just kept on growing. Yeah, it's the same as the one at the other end. That one is on a bit of a tree stump, but ultimately it's just the age they are. This gives you some idea of the sort of stem on it, George.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So I mean, you can see the babies there, and then that's how they grow, and then just keep going with the lovely netting.
Isn't that it's just bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah. And fresh foliage that's obviously full of ingumentum.
Oh yeah, look at
Prolifera. I think I was looking at this. It's got Dicksonia in it, but the Dicksonia is dead. So I think this is Woodwardia prolifera, isn't it? That gets all the little plantlets on the leaves. When that gets, there's one there. You can see it really gets going. They're absolutely covered.
Wow, that's sensational, that, isn't it? Yeah. Just look at all those. There'll be plenty of plants for your open days next year, won't there?
Well, we'll do anything by request.
Well, this is it.
We take one look at you, see if you're well dressed and wealthy, then the price goes up.
Yeah. So watch yourself, Mark.
We've got his measure.
Oh, I'm sure you have. I mean, this is amazing. Obviously, when you have your open days, the whole place is opened up, isn't it? And people can...
All the demonstration greenhouses are open. The propagation ones aren't because they're a bit dangerous because there's pipes around. And
well, you can't do that and not expect me to want to go in. So today, let's have a look at your propagation greenhouses.
This is
behind the scenes, the research private greenhouses.
This is where all the really expensive stuff is.
Oh, yes. Just look at this. This is... How do you look after it all, Steve?
A wing and a prayer, I think. A wing and a prayer.
There's so much effort that goes into things like this. I know, look, if you look after a greenhouse a quarter the size of this, it's an impressive feat. But all these plants, this is just propagation, is it? This is for
tends to be displays. Yeah, I mean, there's a sugar cane that I took off earlier. There's more sugar cane on the misting bench. There's the remnants of aeoniums that we just haven't got potted up and taken on. There's quite a rarity over there, and there's Antidecia,
Yeah.
African Queen.
Let's show people that, because I thought this is real. It's real beautiful. This.
Yeah, it's quite a stunner. Is that one? It's one I saw in an American nursery and wanted, and then you've got Persia Fantasia, which again, you know, is another great Xanthodecia, which is not that hard to get hold of. Echinwill Pretii that flowered inside earlier, sprouting again. So.
And even the self-sown weeds down here, Begonia Torsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely thriving. Madness, isn't it? I mean, there's begonias as far as I can see, isn't there, in here?
There's a complete range of different ones. I mean, there's different range of Aristolochias as well. We've got sort of all over the place.
Well, we'll see one just out in the corridor shortly, won't we? I mean, there's papyrus at the back there. Wow.
There's the... it's not a salvia, it's is it Brasiliensis or something?
I'll put the name on the screen. It definitely has the leaves of a salvia, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's been named a salvia, but it isn't. It's Brilliantissima, isn't it? It's
oh yes, I know the one you mean.
Brilliantissima.
Yes, there we go.
It needs a good feed, but you can sort of see why it's called
oh yeah.
You know, very similar to the salvia flower type.
That is an interesting one, that. And then, I mean, looking across, there's so many plants I wouldn't even know where to start, you know, in terms of ID.
There's a rubbishy Pharaoh's mask.
Oh, it's not barely worth you growing here, that is it?
I struggle with colocasias, I don't mind admitting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the leaves and things, but I've never, you know, they'll suddenly grow away and be fantastic plants and then just collapse.
I think they need everything right, don't they, all the time? And, I mean,
I think they've got no chance. Oh, here's we just to show we can do things from root cuttings.
I am impressed.
Yeah, just casually.
Yeah, oh yeah, you just throw them in, don't you? And they just sprout out, yeah.
You just see it's chucked on the bench.
Wow. I can see why yourselves and the team over at Sunk Island get on so well, because you definitely have the same fanatical interest in amazing and observed plants.
Well, I mean, the great thing about it is, I mean, you've got Sean and Dave over there, you've got Jenny and Roger locally, and we've got access to quite a lot of other people, Mike Clifford for his seeds. You know, within that group, you've got a phenomenal choice of stuff you can grow, from cuttings, seeds, plants. You know, the main nurseries are starting to get now, but they're way behind. But I mean, as I say, if you're really into it, you know, there are a lot of different sort of sources.
So again, for a lot of you people watching this, if you're new to tropical style gardening, you feel like you've got the mainstream plants in your garden and you want to take it to that next level, it's well worth heading across to Sunk Island, come to here, Thwaite Gardens on an open day, check it out, or even Jenny and Roger's garden, the Secret Garden of Louth, or I suppose Jane Allen's garden. It was them that got in touch. Yeah, they put me in touch with yourself to come over here today.
Well, they came out for an open day and you know, they haven't left the place since.
Yeah.
and that's looking after their massive garden as well, so they come, they're on holiday this week, but they'll normally be over here.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, they're such a friendly couple, and I'll put a link to the video I did at their garden probably a few years ago now, over at Winterton. It really is such a treat. But here, I mean, this is a plant that we just have to feature. This is just alien-like, isn't it? This. Which variety is it?
It's Aristolochia grandifolia, we think we decided upon in the end. There seems to be very similar versions. I think it depends on the flower size. But I mean, the bizarre thing is when you look at it before it opens,
I'll let you turn it round.
Is that sort of great pouch.
Wow. And
it's fly pollinated, and it traps the flies in overnight and then lets them out the next day. It did actually set seed last year, although I sent it down to Mike, but it didn't seem to be viable. It was really unusual it actually set seed, because when we were clearing it up with just these long pods, but you can see virtually every bit of it, so there's going to be flowers.
Yeah.
This is one of our volunteers, got a bit carried away with the brown bit.
Yeah.
Came and said, oh, it's died. I said, no, you've cut it off.
Oh dear. But I mean, just look, that's like something you see on a show with David Attenborough talking over it, isn't it? Really does look incredible.
Blood coloured, and I say, fortunately this one doesn't stink, but some of them really stink of rotting flesh, you know, it's like Geruncularis vulgaris, isn't it? You walk past it and think there's a dead cat in the border.
Oh yeah, so I think we'll just have a quick look up here and then come back and look at that cacti greenhouse there. So up here, I mean, this is another private area, isn't it? And I just want to give people an idea of how much plant mayhem goes on here. This
is another greenhouse full of only things that Mark can afford.
It's amazing. There literally is everything, isn't there? From begonias that you can grow outside. So
what about that?
Cythias. What about that? Some kind of orchid-looking thing?
Monada.
Monada?
It's a monada, and it's meant to be hardy, not long-lived.
Oh.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'm just in awe of the amount of plants in here. So if you are a plant person, whether you're coming at this from a tropical garden point of view or you enjoy growing house plants, there is absolutely something for you to see here. It's well worth a trip.
This is Brassaiopsis dumbicola.
Just another weed.
Our third type, but in fact I just got a fourth one. Mike sent me a species one from Myanmar, Burma, so I don't know what it's going to turn out like, but it's just tiny at the moment.
All right, and then at the back there we've got a Hispida, haven't we?
Yeah, there's more.
See, just peeking over there.
There's more.
A forest of Brassaiopsis, isn't it?
There's more mittis down there. You know, they're like weeds here.
Yeah. Bromeliads.
Funny enough, they're the plants left over from when I put them in the cheese plant.
Oh, right, in the Monstera, yeah.
So they were kind of left over from 2 years ago when there was a framework there to actually to hang them on, because we actually got a toad. We got a photograph of a toad in one of them.
Right.
It had worked its way up the plant.
Wow. That's
Fuchsia paniculatum, I think. No, it's not arborescens. It's just flowering.
Yeah. Wow.
And you've got your different. Then you got some decent sized torsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Farfugia.
Wow.
The Mythis and a few Cyathias and Dixonias chucked in there just for good measure.
I am absolutely amazed at, just the amount of plants you can grow here. And there's botanic glasshouses in cities across the country that don't have this range of plants, isn't there? But like always, it isn't about the resources available, it's about the passion and the eccentricity of those that work with them, isn't it?
Good word, eccentricity.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's mad people with a bit of money and the ability to actually go through with their dreams, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't be normal and...
Oh, absolutely not. Wow. This is amazing.
So yeah, we've got a number of Impatiens, some are better doers than others. You've missed the Hibiscus Cameronia. It's a phenomenal flower on it, but it's one from Birmingham Botanic Gardens, but it's got a flower about that size. Sean managed to get it will set seed, and that seed grown, and Sean grew some from seed because he's got a bit more time to do it, but they are, when you see it in flower, and this is the ordinary Trionium Hibiscus Trionium, which are just starting to go over now, but you can sort of see that's an annual. Well, it's a perennial normally, but
in our climate.
And then you just get the seed that's these funny little hairy seed pods, but then the little black seeds, so you get tons of seed.
Yeah, look at that. Throw it in, and that's how this happens, isn't it? Wow.
Well, it'll just grow itself, won't it?
Yeah, it absolutely will in this environment. This is just incredible.
And we've got the swamp lily about to flower, which will be the 6-inch big red flower on it. So it literally is. There's a hand, so it gives you some idea of it. They're becoming more common now to get hold of.
Yeah, for good reason as well. They really are beautiful. Begonia luxurians there. I'm just pleased to see something I can recognise.
A rubbish version. I had a really big one. There was about 10 foot tall bits of it, but I mean, we need to actually do better with that next year.
Is this Salvia, I want to say convertiflora?
Convertiflora,
yeah. Yeah, convertiflora, yeah.
So it's got the orange fluffy flowers on it. And
that's amazing.
Then you've got Sagittata, which is just worth growing for the leaves on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a blue flower, which I think we've got one of a different types. Oh, here's that's the kind of blue flower you get on it, but that's another
blue, isn't it?
Yeah, a paler blue, but Sagittata is worth growing just for the foliage.
Yeah. So obviously we can't share all your secrets today. We need to give people a reason to come back for your open days, but I think if we can push past all these plants here, I think we need to show people some of the cacti and arid style planting next door. Well, you've got to show that on the way, haven't we?
One Brugmansia flower. We did flower earlier in the year, but
yeah, still a stunner, isn't it?
Yeah, our giant one has been shy to flower this year.
Yeah, you did mention that when we walked around, and I've got to say I walked past it in this video without really showing people the scale.
Yeah, you can kind of see the cordex or how long it's been here for. This is all new growth this year.
This is a Brugmansia, and
it's Grandmania. So it's one of the old ones,
absolutely crazy.
Probably when everybody's gone home, it'll flower.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Yeah, it'll flower. In late October, November time, somewhere up there in the trusses, won't it?
Yeah, as it falls over.
What a strong plant that is. Amazing. Loads more succulents there, spiky plants.
But no, that's kind of overflow from...
Oh, just overflow of spikies over there.
Spares.
Yeah. Wow. I've got to say, you know, I've lived half an hour away all my life, and I never realised this was here, and it really is amazing. I mean, some of these.
Well, we've got Bob, who's either chairman or something in the Hull and East Riding Cactus and Succulent Society, and he comes over from Wakefield twice a week to look after the cacti selection and do general gardening. So he's a godsend to look after the collection, and he's really sorted it out, and because it was being neglected, because again it was time, we didn't have enough time to look after it properly. Like
everything these days, isn't it? When there's no funding available, places struggle. But I can tell, looking at this display here, the amount of effort that's gone into weeding every single one of those pots is, it's incredible. Not see that one. That was the one weed that was left, wasn't it? And you've just taken care of it. Thank you for providing that visual demonstration.
You should be told off when I see him on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's it.
More effort required. There was a bit of trefoil there or whatever.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I've got to say, I haven't got into the whole houseplants cacti thing. I used to grow them when I was a child, and I can see it being a dangerous obsession on the horizon. But
well, I mean, these are all euphorbias. I mean, this
that
one keeps hitting the ceiling, and so it's getting brutally chopped off. But I mean, these are all the same group of, euphorbias.
Sort of not true cacti, if you like. Yeah.
And then you get this beast that just dies off to this great knobbly lump. This will just die off in the winter.
Obviously, you recognise the lithops, you recognise the various succulents, and I'm familiar with some of the cacti forms, but plants like that with a huge cordex at the base, and then what looks like a normal sort of vine growing out of it, they're just so bizarre, aren't they? Yeah. It really is, such an incredible world that we live in with, habitats and all these plants that grow adapted to them. But I think coming to a place like this where, I've not even talked about these plants on there. Look at the aloes, agaves. There's a tenuata, is it down there?
Ferox there as
well.
Ferox,
well, yeah, that's a bit of a beastie, that one, isn't it?
Flower. Well, this one, I think this is Triceratops, but it got you see where it's been cut off there? It grew so fast, it actually split itself open on the greenhouse roof. So they literally come within 2 years, the sprouts. And this one's going to do the same thing. It's going to go and split itself on the ceiling.
That's just incredible,
isn't it? It's a bit like Paul Sprackling with his one at the side of his house.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that with the hat on the top of it occasionally, yeah. No, that's amazing. And
so Paul comes up and visits us and gives us a bit of advice.
I didn't realise. Paul's garden, I've got to say, on a sort of a selfish point of view, is one that I would absolutely love to do a video at. It's a bit far for me to travel down to Essex, but by the time this video comes out, I believe Paul's book will have been announced. Yeah. So I'll put a link to that in the description below. It's all about exotic gardening for dry gardens, isn't it? Yeah,
because he took some photos here of the yuccas in the bed, but it came out at the end of August, so it'll be out now.
So look in the video description below, and I will have a link to Paul's book. And I've got to say, without even reading it, I know it will be a must-have book for all UK exotic gardeners. So thank you very much, Steve, for your time again today. Really sharing this. And I think it's a bit of an eye-opener. If you enjoy any kind of plants, whether that be house plants, tropical style plants, you've just got into growing unusual, exciting plants in your own garden. If you live near Hull, Cottingham, this is the place to come. It really is a full-on botanical adventure. There's so many amazing plants, and there's another one that I've walked straight past.
You're too tall, George.
And that's it. A lovely little flower here to end the video on. It really is amazing. There is absolutely everything here, Steve, and I've got to say, it's really a shame that I've not been before now, but I'm pleased that Jane Allen put me in touch with yourself. Thank you for your time, and it really has been a treat. And like I said, I'll put a link to your website in the description below, so if people head over, you have open days dotted throughout the summer, get yourself over next year. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.